I just wanted to do a quick video on 9/11. Actually, forgot all about it, which shouldn't. We should never forget. But I seen some posts on it and was sitting there. I had some time to think about it. I remember that day quite well. At the time, I was laid off. So I was home. My wife went off to work. I had a cup of coffee. And the phone rings. And it was a friend of mine, a dear old friend of mine, Jim Mulvaney, God rest his soul, and said, "Hey, I know you're home and that you got the news on." And I said, "No." He goes, "I think there was an accident." He goes, "It looks like a plane crashed into one of the World Trade Centers." So I got the news on, and I'm on the phone with him and watching the TV, my coffee, and as we're talking, we actually watched the second one hit the tower. So that's when we realized, I said, that ain't no accident. I said, we're at war, okay, we're at war. And it's one of them things, it's like when my dad said, when he was, I think, 6 or 7, they bombed Pearl Harbor. And back then, it was before TVs, everyone gathered around the radio Sunday morning, or Sunday afternoon, actually. And, that's when they broke the news about Pearl Harbor. It's one of them things you remember all your life. And as the day progressed and we stayed glued to the TV, that's when they called an air alert and got all the planes down on the ground and scrambled fighter jets. And they did it quite well. Of course, that was the last time the air travel wasn't a pain in the ass. But they did that. We heard about the plane crashing, didn't quite know the details there. So all this was going on in the panic and the emergency. And at the time, I lived by one of the military things, the old air base in Rome, New York, which is a SAC command, but that was busy that day. And so when I was driving down the street, I went down to a convenience store to get something. And on the way down, 8-minute ride it took to go down the road, that's when it came over the radio that the Pentagon was hit. Which, that was frightful, because when I went into the store, I got what I wanted, and I remember, you go to a convenience store all the time, you know all the people that work there, and they're all in there, and the manager was there, and they go, "What happened?" And I don't think they had a TV, or maybe they did, but they were looking, and I said, "It just came over the radio that the Pentagon was hit." And I mean, everybody in the room, like a gasp. That was a frightening day. Okay, it was a very, very frightening day. And shortly after that, that's another thing. I don't like to complain, but shortly after that, that's when they had that stock market crash, where we lost 67% of all of our savings in 401ks and that. Okay, and for years they blamed that, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. And, now that I've reached that point, I never recovered financially. Of course, I never invested my money again in a 401k, because all it did was go up and down. Everyone blamed 9/11. And the truth of the matter is, you ever watch this program called American Greed? And they cover all these characters that ran these investment scams, okay, in that time period. And a lot of it was done, or a lot of it was also just, they overinflated the value of things, and that's why we had a crash. But yeah, then it kicked off the Gulf Wars and everything else. And I guess we waged war for 20 years after that. And to what outcome, you know? But the one thing is, thank God, that nothing like that has happened since then, okay? And hopefully it won't. Alright, just kind of a reminder on a day like today, not to forget all those people that tragically were killed there during these attacks on our country. Alright, hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned.